Hello everyone, my name is Bella Bablumian. I'm the founder of the Embody Wellness Institute. I'm a specialist in international health policy and behavioral psychology. Today, I wanted to wish you a very happy, healthy day. Today is International Health Day. And I wanted to talk about three topics. One is the definition of health. Two is what are the pillars of health, and also kind of to look at where we are as a society in terms of health. So first of all, the definition of health, even according to World Health Organization, is way beyond the physical health. It's obviously mental health, it's social health, and when we as a society and as individuals, when we focus mostly on disease, symptom treatment, not only are we not really understanding the causes of our disease, right, and addressing them at their root, but we're also going to be spending much more money if we invest on disease, because all these other pillars are ignored, and those are actually the pillars and the contributing factors to our health deteriorating, despite all the investments that we have in health, increasing exponentially without the results that we need. And so what are these pillars? What composes our health and well-being? We've forgotten that not only is mental and social health extremely important, in and of itself, but that they both influence our physical health directly. So if you're suffering with a mental health condition, the environment through hormones that's created in your body is very conducive to the development of other diseases. In fact, stress, whatever it encompasses, I think stress is a very misunderstood word in our society, but that environment that's created in our body when we experience stress that's not managed properly is very conducive to disease. And if we look at populational level health, 7 out of 10 causes of illness and mortality are in fact lifestyle related, are preventable. What are we doing with prevention? Almost nothing. That is one of the reasons I've distanced myself from working with international health policy, is because I see that by and large we're still investing in disease, and that's very inefficient, very ineffective, and dissatisfactory to say the least. What I've created is 3 kind of bigger pillars, and then within that there are smaller sub pillars. So the main pillars are feel your body, move your body, and nourish your body. We'll start with nourish. So nourish is obviously what we consume. So nutrition is an extremely important aspect of whatever we put in our body is what is kind of the raw components from which the health is constructed. So if you don't have certain nutrients, micronutrients, macronutrients, your body doesn't have the ingredients to create all the amino acids, all the enzymes that are needed to create the reactions in your body. So don't underestimate the power of nutrition. On the converse side, what you consume that's not supposed to be in your body, all the toxins or the pesticides or the additives, all of that is interfering right now with your systems, with that perfect health that could be in your body if we were more careful as individuals, and I think it's absolutely the role of our societies to make sure that we don't get exposed to these harmful, toxic substances, especially as children, and especially with in communities where little knowledge exists on the topic, because they're disruptive to our health and to our mental health. And that's another topic. So our nutrition directly influences in how we feel. Now there's more and more studies showing how depression is 100% linked to our gut health and to all the nutrients that are missing from our body. So that's one pillar. Move your body is about movement, obviously, but not just the movement that we do at the gym. We were projected to be very mobile and very active, and when we don't engage in activity, what happens is we get stagnated. So all the aerobic exercise that's very important for our heart health, all the strength training that's necessary to create the muscle mass so that we can have adequate support for our body, but also to enhance our metabolism. And aside from that, again, movement is an extremely important component of our mental health. So if you are experiencing a lot of anxiety and you're not moving, that energy gets stuck in your body and you get really exposed to higher and higher levels of stress hormones, which wreak havoc on our bodies. Feel your body is kind of where I bring my innovation. I believe that we are not looking enough at how we feel. So the subjective well-being is just as, if not more important than what we're actually consuming and how we're preventing health with all of these very important components. But if we're constantly feeling unwell, that's creating real chemical environment in our body that leads to disease. So how we feel, the self-awareness is very important. I created a method called the sensefulness method, so that when we can reawaken our body's innate ability to sense what's happening in our environment and react to it in more effective ways. We are living in complete misalignment with the way that we were projected to live, and so our body is in constant disequilibrium. So being aware of what that disequilibrium is and what our body needs to restore the balance is of extreme importance. And finally, I include sexuality within this pillar as well, because I believe that sexuality is kind of a transversal pillar that really is kind of forgotten, and it has huge benefits on our physical health and mental health as well. And so it needs to be brought back into the conversation about preventive health and well-being. Finally, a component that I bring as a psychologist is that we forget that no matter how much we learn about what health is and what we need to do, if we don't know how our behavioral change works, it just remains as knowledge and it doesn't translate into actual health and well-being. So I've created another kind of methodology around this called pleasurable wellness, to focus on the fact that when we look at healthy living as a burden, we're never going to implement healthy living in our life. But if we start looking at healthy as pleasurable, as enjoyable, and something that we can really, where we find what actually makes us feel good, rather than going to the gym, we find a dance class that's actually agreeable with us, or instead of foods that are not really exciting, we find ways to make that food palatable and integrate our friends, let's say, into the activities that are burdensome. Then we create sustainable, long-lasting changes. So on the last note, what I was going to say about where we are as a society, I think we find ourselves in a pretty dangerous place where conventional medicine is going in the direction of disease and symptom treatment, getting further and further away from us as individuals. And wellness is kind of springing and developing into these very fragmented and sometimes very specialized and very expensive form that's much more connected to our needs, and yet it's very difficult to navigate for most people and unaffordable at best. What we need to look at is creating this middle ground, right? So bringing lifestyle and all of these things that we practice in wellness closer to medicine, because obviously medicine is very important for us in like 10% of the times, but 90% of the time we need to be practicing these basic pillars of healthy living to prevent disease from happening, but also to really bring well-being in the form of feel-good hormones, in the form of this nourishment, in the form of movement that invigorates us. So if you have this vision, if it resonates with you and you want to practice what I share with you on an individual level, in your organizations, at a community level, I'm very open to having a conversation to see how we can create this beautiful environment where you and your colleagues can flourish and really experience well-being at its best.